Have you ever set a goal, started working so hard to achieve it, and looked back, but you made zero progress? And all of a sudden, life starts getting in the way, and you're trying to figure out how to balance everything while still making progress on the one thing that you actually care about. You don't need another self help book. You need systems. You need systems that work for you. So when you're feeling tired and unmotivated, or life starts getting in the way, you're still able to make progress on that goal. And in this video, I'll break down why 99% of people struggle to achieve their goals and the simple systems that you can apply to actually start checking off the goals that you set. The way that most people set their goals is they start at the beginning of the year, they set a big goal that excites them, they start telling everyone about it, they tell their friends and their family, they write it down in their journal, they make a little vision board, and all of a sudden, a few weeks in, a few months in, and that same goal disappears. It's like the same person or the person that you was a month ago is completely different to the person you are now. And you try to figure out, why is it that I started the year so full of energy and motivated, and as soon as I got tired and life started happening and got in the way, I didn't care to work towards those same goals anymore. And then all of a sudden, you start to feel like you're the problem. You start to think that you're the one that's inconsistent. You're the one who can't finish what they set out to do in the first place. And those thoughts start creeping in. You start believing this narrative that you tell yourself that, you're unable to do it, that you can't, or you're not the special one who's chosen to be able to achieve this goal that you set out. And then you're just stuck. But what if I told you that wasn't the case? What if I told you that the problem isn't you? It's the way that you set your goals and the system that you use to get there. So we're going to dive into principle number 1. Make the inputs your goals and not the outcome. Think about it for a second. Right now, in this very moment, you can't control the outcome. If your goal is to make $1 million, you can't just snap your fingers and you have $1 million. You have to go work towards it. So why is it that we set our goals on the outcome instead of the inputs that get us to that outcome? So instead of saying I want to make $1 million, why don't you say that I want to post 50 times a month on TikTok, or that you want to post 14 times a week on Instagram, or you want to post 2 YouTube videos and 5 shorts? Why is it that most of the time we're just so focused on the outcome, the outcome, the outcome? We never get the chance to actually sit down and think, what is the inputs that get the outcome? You can directly control the inputs, which eventually will get you to the result. But most people think that if I just set a big goal and I say it enough times in the mirror and click my fingers, it'll magically happen. But in reality, you need something that you can control and that you can track. So, for example, if I wanted to lose 10 pounds, I'm not going to say I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm just going to say I want to go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week for this entire month. If you add that up, that's around 20 times in the span of 4 weeks. You can slowly start to build up that habit of going to the gym, of posting content, of working on your business, of taking more sales calls, of learning a language. You can track your amount of inputs each and every single day, which is ultimately what builds momentum. Think about it. Back in the day when everyone was doing snap streaks, right? The higher your streak was, the more that you cared about it, the more that you wanted to log in on Snapchat, make sure that you sent a dozen posts to your streaks so that you can keep those streaks going. It works the same way for your goals. If you change your goals to the inputs, and you start tracking exactly how much work you're putting in every single day, then you start building momentum as you're tracking it. And next thing you know, every day that you wake up, you're committed to your goals. You're checking your calendar, you're checking your app, you're looking at your streak, and you're like, I don't want to break it. I've been consistent for the past 10 days. Why would I want to break a streak? But the usual thing that we do is we set a goal, we don't even track it, we don't look back, we don't look at our progress or measure anything that we're doing pertaining to it. And at the end of the year, we look back and we're like, bro, I didn't do anything with my life. I didn't do anything to achieve this goal. And then you tell yourself you've been doing this for the past 5 years, 6 years, 7 years of not achieving goals, setting new ones, and in this toxic cycle of just trying to set a bigger goal to release dopamine and talk about it, all the cool things that you're going to do, but end up not doing anything. Which leads us to principle number 2. You don't need a million goals. Focus beats fantasy. Every single time, any day of the week, you can show me someone who's working towards 20 different goals and someone who is working towards one. The person working towards one will 99% of the time achieve that one goal, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. I know you've probably heard this a million times, but literally, If you are splitting your focus between 10 different goals, you're trying to lose weight, build $1 million business, have your dream life, create your dream relationship, find your dream woman or your dream man or whatever you're looking for out of life. And you're trying to do all these things at one time. You're not trying to separate it. You're not trying to break it down. You're not trying to work towards it. You're just you want everything to happen all at once. You will have a hard time trying to achieve everything because your focus is going in every which direction. And I can almost guarantee you that if you look back at any period or point in your life where you set multiple goals at once, most of them did not get checked off. But as soon as you focused on one thing, it became easier because all of your attention and your energy and your time and your effort was going towards one place. So, what I want you to do instead is to pick one goal that will completely change your entire life. Pick the one goal that scares you. Pick the goal that if it were to happen today, your life would be 10 times better because of it. Focus on that one goal. For me, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to make $1 million. I've always wanted to be a millionaire. That has been my goal since I first started my journey back in 2014, 2015 when I was selling sneakers. But the main reason why I struggled to reach that goal was because I launched multiple businesses. I was working on multiple projects and my attention was so split that I could never just put my all into one basket. And I know a lot of people try to say that, oh, don't put all your eggs into one basket. But when you're first starting out, the most powerful thing that you can do is keep your focus on one area and master that skill. Once you've mastered that skill is when you're able to diversify and put your eggs into multiple baskets. But when you're first coming up, you don't want to take $1, split it 10 ways and think that you're going to make $1 million out of it. That is not how it works. You want to take that dollar, put it into one thing and grow that one thing until it makes you your first million. So that one goal that you choose is what you're going to work on. And I want you to put a specific date on that goal. So instead of telling yourself that, oh, I just want to lose 10 pounds this year, I have until the next 90 days to lose 10 pounds, or I have 30 days to lose 10 pounds, or I have 60 days to lose 10 pounds. And you need to put a specific date on it. You don't want to just say, oh, I'm going to lose 10 pounds this year. You want to make sure that you have a verifiable date so that you know that by this time I should be building up and working towards reaching that goal and being able to say, okay, I wasn't able to do it. Here's where I went wrong, or here's where my inputs started to slow down, and here's what I need to fix for the next one. And if you do hit it, you see that you're able to actually reach your goals and check it off the list and work on the next one, which leads us into principle number 3. You need system and not willpower, because it doesn't matter how motivated you are, you will eventually get tired. You will have a bad day. You'll have a day where you don't feel like it. And if you rely on willpower in order to reach your goals or work on them each and every single day, then there will be a day where you don't feel like doing it, or something gets in the way, or life happens, or you're stuck in traffic and you can't make it home on time, you can't make it to the gym, or you have an emergency, and all of a sudden your goals start to slip. You stop going to the gym, you stop posting content, you stop working on your business, you stop learning a language or whatever goal that you set out to do. And then months pass by and that goal goes to the graveyard with all the other ones. But with a system, you build a lifestyle that aligns with your goals. It pushes you regardless of what you're doing in order to get to that goal. So for example, if you're working a 9 to 5 and you wanted to start a business, but you didn't have enough time in the day to create content or to work on your products. Let's just say that you waited until after work where you were tired, sleepy, and drained to work on your business. And you realize that when you got home, you'd go to sleep and it'd be the next day, and then you'd have to work again. And you couldn't find time in your day to work on your side hustle or your dream or whatever business venture that you wanted to work on. Instead, with a system, you can look at your day. You can say, okay, I have an extra hour in the morning where I'm just watching TV or eating breakfast, where I can actually be creating content or working on my product. Instead, what I'm going to do is take that hour and use it for building my business. You realize that hour is not enough for you to create content and do what you need to do. You might have to look for a different way of solving that same problem, right? It's a constant cycle of reiteration. You're going to try the first thing, it might not work. Then you're going to try the second thing, that might not work. And then you're going to try the third thing and the fourth thing. And you're going to look for how to integrate it into your lifestyle. You might need to wake up an hour earlier. You might need to stay at work a little longer, or you might need to go to the library after work. That is what creating a system or a lifestyle around your goals allows you to do. So now, regardless of what I have going on in my personal life, I'm able to create a system that helps me and pushes me towards my goals and not away from them. Because if I rely on just willpower and getting home after a long, tired, draining day, then I can't guarantee that every single day that I get home from work, I'll be able to sit down and work on my business and give it the focus that I need. But a simple trick that I found that makes this much easier is having an accountability partner. I know that, you might not have a friend who is aligned with you, or you might not know anyone who's reaching or working towards the same goals. I guarantee you that most of the time there is someone out there who is willing to be your accountability partner, whether they're online or in person, that you can use and build with and grow with, even if this person isn't directly, next to you. You can still have a friend that you reach out to or call whenever you're going to the gym, or whenever you're going to go on a walk, or whenever you're going to sit down and create content, work on your business, create a YouTube video, create a reel, create a TikTok. You can use an accountability partner to hold you accountable. So even on your worst days where you don't feel like doing it, where your system fails, um, where you might slide off of your system, you have someone in your corner who's able to tell you, like, hey, let's get back up on your feet. Let's dust your shoes off, put them on, and get to work, and put one foot in front of the other. So what I want you to take away out of this video is to stop making the big results your goals. Instead, make the inputs your goals, because if you do the inputs, the results will happen as a byproduct. The edge is in the inputs. James Clear is a quote that I love and live by. Put in the right inputs and I figure out what inputs actually get me that result, then eventually I will make. And then from there, you start tracking your inputs. You see how much you're doing, what you need to change, what you need to improve. You continue to grow, learn, and figure out what you need to do to achieve that goal. And then you have an accountability partner to hold you accountable, even on the days where you don't feel like doing it.